Infinity Pool. Shit, there's a fucking weird movie. So I wanted to check this movie out because I knew it was directed by David Cronenberg's son, and I felt very upset last year that I missed Crimes of the Future in theaters. I still have not watched that movie, by the way. I don't know why. I haven't seen it yet, but I have not. And so when I saw this one was coming out, I was like, all right, I cannot miss this one. So I went last night. It's got Mia Goth in it, who was, from Pearl and X, and she's a great actress. So I wanted to see what this movie was. And they put a warning up in front of the movie about how explicit and violent kind of stuff in the movie is. And I think that's a little absurd. This movie is not one of those like super disturbing movies that deserves that kind of warning. Like I think very few movies really deserve that warning, especially since like this is not a movie in wide release; it's only in limited release. And so when you're talking about this movie, I don't think this is gonna demand huge crowds that who don't know what the shit this movie is. Most people are gonna buy a ticket, know that this is a David Cronenberg type style movie directed by his son. However, it was great. Alexander Skarsgård was very interesting in this movie because for the first 45 minutes to almost an hour, he gives this very low key, softer, kind of keen performance. Then all of a sudden, shit hits the fan. I'm not really going to say much more than that. Um, that was interesting, and I really loved his performance in this movie. And if the Academy actually cared about horror, I feel like Mia Goth would have got nominated for Pearl. Alexander Skarsgård might have got a nomination for this movie, but they don't. Unfortunately, they fucking hate horror. Um, this was great though. I thought this was awesome. That performance, Mia Goth, once again was great. Not as good as she was in Pearl X, but she does what she needs to do very well in this movie. And the themes of this movie, I don't really want to say too much about anything in this movie. This is a movie that is best watched blind, not knowing anything about it. It's a it's an interesting watch, but it's got interesting themes to it about like what it means to be human and things like that. And those ways it explored those ideas throughout the film were not ways that I expected. This movie is very creepy, very bizarre in a lot of instances, but works very well. And a lot of the cinematography is very striking. A lot of people have criticized David Cronenberg's son's filmmaking. I This is the first time I've ever seen one of his films, and I think he directed this film pretty well. I actually really liked it. Uh, it's a very interesting movie. I don't know how much longer it's going to be playing in theater, so if it's still playing at a theater near you, I'd probably go try check it out this week or weekend, and hopefully we can see more from David Cronenberg's son because I do like David Cronenberg, even though I've seen like one or two of his movies. I haven't seen like a lot of them. I definitely need to check out more. What a fantastic uh, film!